Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to State of the Realm. I forgot intro music because I was so focused on the intro song, so we're not going to get to listen to those catchy beats at the start of the show. Now, this show is going to be a special episode of State of the Realm. If you were paying attention last week, either at the beginning and the end, pre-show or post-show, regardless, I am not actually going to be on the show this week. I am simply going to be hosting it on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel. We're actually going to have a different host as we talk about love in gaming. It was Mizzteq's idea, I swear. So anyway, I'm going to pass the show over to our hostess with the mostest for the night. That would be Rahhzay, aka the Moogle Mama herself, and hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Rahhzay, you can take it away.
Woo! What's up, guys? Rahhzay, the Moogle Mama here, and co-hosting with me today is Mizzteq, aka MTQ Capture, aka the Bread Queen, aka the uber gifable Miz.
I don't know about that.
Hey, the gifs are real with you, for sure.
They are, and it's not something I'm happy about. I'm kidding, I love it.
And then, as you notice, we have a bunch of other awesome Dream Team members with us. We've got all the females came out today, and then you got Fahros. No. So we've got RinTheYordle and Lightrayne down there. Say hi. I see you waving.
Hi.
Got Kenji. Kenji's kind of chilling in the background, so you got a lovely little picture of his Mikote. And then, of course, you got our own Fahros and Courtney, a.k.a. Catalyst Veritas.
What's up, everybody?
Hi.
So, and my hubby is working, so his, So, me and Miz were each other's significant others today.
Mm-hmm. We complete each other.
Yes. So let's get things started, right? So this episode is about like gamer couples, gamer parents, and gamers with full-time jobs, love in gaming and finding time, I guess, really, and how to make things work, especially before Heavensward and beyond. So all of us here obviously play Final Fantasy XIV with our significant other. Our first question is, how did you get into gaming with them? Hubby and I, Matthias, we met in Ion, and he was my Legion leader, and after a couple months, we met in person and talked constantly, and finally, moved in together, and the rest is history. So we met online. How about, did anybody else meet online in the group? Oh.
So many of us.
Wow.
Rain and I did on Guild Wars 2, actually. He was one of our mutual friends introduced us to each other because I was super noob in Guild Wars 2, and I was like, wow, I really suck. And our friend Peter was like, oh, you should talk to Lightrayne. He's pretty good. He can teach you how to play NG a little bit. So I was like, oh, Senpai Complex. And then a year and a half later, I was like, I really like this guy. He's really cool. And
it was like a student falls in love with the teacher kind of bit.
So you're saying Senpai noticed you?
Yeah, I did notice me.
Okay.
That is
Very nice.
definitely a senpai noticed me kind of a thing. How about you, Miz? Where did you guys meet?
In the world.
The world?
Yeah, we were actually friends of friends. That's how we met. And over time, I don't know, we just started talking, and kind of like what Rin said, at some point you just realized, oh my gosh, this person's actually really kind of cool. And it just went from there.
So I know a few of us have met our significant other outside of gaming. Kind of what got you guys into gaming together? How about Fahros and Courtney?
Yeah, so me and Courtney met at community college when I was first going to school in a poetry class.
Yep, creative writing.
I've been a nerd since day one. So when me and her started hanging out, I had the recording set up, so I was making YouTube videos and I was showing her the videos, and then it was all, hey, I'll play with you, and it just went from there, you know?
Yeah, I played games since I can remember, and I had a little bit of experience with MMOs, but he helped me a lot get actually into it, so it was really cool.
That's really cool. So obviously we all play Final Fantasy. Achi, who had to convince who to join the Final Fantasy world? Who discovered the game first?
Kenji did. We were going through tons of free online games, trying to find something. You didn't silence your phone. So we were going through all different kinds of games, and we couldn't find something that we liked. And then eventually we found Final Fantasy XIV. It was like a couple months after it had been out, and we've just been playing it ever since.
Sorry, I was distracted by Pharos' beautiful bald head.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
I saw
tried
the
to
comment,
point
I
at it,
couldn't help it.
For those that don't know, we're kind of creating a Dream Team Cards Against Humanity deck, and one of the cards I frequently bring up is one that Courtney had suggested, which is Pharos' beautiful bald head. So when he pulled off his hat, I was distracted and lost track of what was going on.
8-ball there, like where you shake it, you rub it, and it gives you an answer. Is that how that works, Courtney?
It has some powers. For sure.
Oh
It's
my
a little more
gosh.
sarcastic than a Magic 8-Ball, but it works.
Oh my
basically
gosh.
the same.
So how many of you guys played 1.0? I know obviously we're all playing 2.0. I know Matt and I, we tried playing 1.0. He actually discovered it before me and tried to get me into it. I just didn't enjoy the format. He played it until like level 40. He played a monk little, and I had quit. He quit eventually as well, just because of, because it's 1.0. 2.0, I was actually the one that discovered it and got him into it. I started playing the beta test, and I was like, we're playing this. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to do this. But I know we said that Achi Kenji was the one that found Final Fantasy first. Did any of you others maybe play 1.0 at all?
I did, very briefly. When I was playing Final Fantasy XI, I got alpha and beta testing, and I tried it for a little while, and I gave up. And then Rahhzay was actually the one to get me to play, and I forced him to play with me once 2.0 came out. I had my old... Huh? Not entirely. He seemed kind of interested. I was like, play with me, please. Please, like, I want to try it one more time now that they've got the whole updated system and stuff, and it sounds really good, and Rahhzay won't leave me alone.
Make me sound so like like I nagged you to play or something.
I also like
I've been a
that
Final
she
Fantasy player
forced him.
for a long time,
Yeah.
So it's just like an easy transition for you guys once, it was 2.0 and not 1.0. But all right. So I know several of us are raiders here. How many of you actually raid with your significant other in your raid group? So you got Achi, Miz, and Fahros and Courtney, and then obviously Kenji, who I assume is raising his hand, but all we see is Kenji Mikote. So, sorry, Miz, how about you kind of comment on this a little bit? Like, what are the trials and tribulations of being in the same group with Braddock?
So, I don't know if everyone knows this, but I play a tank and Braddock plays the healer. So there's a bit of a dynamic there that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't really know about. Because well, now that I'm streaming, it's a lot more obvious because people love like the banter. But back when we first, like in World of Warcraft and when we first started doing this, we would scream at each other, and I'd be like, I'm popping hollowed, and he'd be like, oh my god, pop more cooldowns, you bad tank, what's wrong with you? And so, like, there's definitely, like, a more of a, I guess, dynamic connection just because we play the two classes that, like, help each other. And I don't know, like, I don't know, it's good because he's always, like, been, like, ever since we've, like, lived together, he has always gamed, like, right next to me, so a lot of the times if I need something, I just like look over and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And it's easy. Like it comes naturally for us, which I think is what makes it so much fun.
Me and Courtney are the same way. There's constant back and forth with us. And I also play the healer, which is weird. Why aren't the dudes going in on the deeps? What's going on? I don't know.
It's funny.
But yeah, so she'll be sitting right next to me and be like, I'm dying, hello! And I'll get her, but it's cool, man. Like gaming with your partner is great. I couldn't imagine any other way, especially like with how much time we put into the game. I'm sure the rest of the people on Skype too. Like this is the kind of game where you put in so many hours. So it's great having your partner play with you.
Yeah, I had never actually raided in any game before Fahros and I got
That's
together.
true.
So it was a very new experience for me, but he's been very helpful, and he's our raid leader. So it's helpful to have him like right next to me. So I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? And you know, he has my back 100% of the time. So it's great.
Well, that's good. Yeah, me and Matt, we
That must
yeah, I'm in the same position as Miz because I main the scholar and he mains the paladin, so we're like the opposite roles, and we definitely know how to push each other's buttons.
Yeah.
We've been in raid groups together and not. I've progressed further than him at this point, but he's been focused on other things. He's actually more of a PvPer in most games, so for him to stick with PvE at all is kind of funny because he's not the most patient patient of people, most patient person. But it's really cool to be able to like push each other in that situation and being able to kind of like coach each other and all that stuff. I know Achi and Kenji, you guys raid together as well, right? Are you guys the type of couple that feel like they need to raid together, or is it just because, you know, it's comfortable and convenient, obviously?
Well, I'll start off by saying, first of all, I think we're like the only couple that doesn't do the tank healer combo. We're both DPS, but we complement each other because, you know, I'm bard and he's ninja, and we try and bounce off TP from each other and stuff like that. But I mean, we don't have to raid together, but we like raiding together because we don't really have date night. We don't go out, so raid time is our date night. So it's the time away from the kids. We could do something together, and it's fun and frustrating, but it's great. So do you have anything to add to that?
No, not really.
Can we have more raid date nights?
I don't know. I'm sure we could.
That sounds cheaper.
It is so much.
It is cheaper, trust me.
It's totally cheaper. I feel like gaming with your significant other is probably one of like the cheapest forms of entertainment.
Especially for us, we're not near each other at all. So it's like if I want to go see him, it's like $300-400. So
Yeah, for you
Dang.
guys, you kind of rely on the internet to bridge that gap.
yeah. So, and I just want to add in really quick too. Like you guys are all like, oh yeah, he's got my back and stuff. I feel bad for this poor guy because he's my tank. Even though we don't raid together, we're trying to figure something out for that. But like, he's my tank, and I'm sitting here going like, I'm a black mage. I'm gonna pop everything. Don't worry if I die.
Good
He's
luck.
like, no, you don't understand. I have to. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. It's okay. And I'm just like, flare. And he's like, will you stop? And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm good.
In and out. It's like it's okay that you're not holding aggro efficiently. I'm just blowing everything on this one mob.
He's freaking out. I've got like 5 HP left. I barely get through it. And he's like, why did you do that? I'm like, because I blow stuff up. That's what I do.
He gives me a challenge.
Challenge.
Hey, that's the test of a true tank right there. Can you hold aggro against your girlfriend's just like constantly high DPS and burst?
I can't do it. I can't do it. He's, oh my god, what are you like in the 700s when you peak?
Every
Oh my God.
time I do dungeons with people in the free company, I always play
So
the.
sorry.
the-
I'm so sorry.
What's going on?
I just ripped the headphone out of Fahros' ear on accident.
I just see Fahros shaking his head. Sorry for laughing
just
kind of
watched
loud,
it.
guys. I'm just having too much fun over here. So, obviously, a lot of us are raiders. I'd consider myself kind of like a mid-core type person just because of the time. Anytime I get to play, it's while I'm streaming. And I know, I'm sure some of you guys have the same kind of a thing. But the only time I really get to play is when someone is taking what I call baby aggro. So it's about like bouncing family life with progression or with streaming or gaming or anything in general. So I'm really blessed in that I actually plan like my game time around her nap time because I'm lucky that she's still like 6, 7 months old, not mobile yet. So that'll be a whole nother thing when she's mobile. But my mom comes over and babysits her, or Matt will take baby aggro at night so that I can get some game time in and some fun. I know Achi mentioned that her and Kenji have date night as their progression night. Is there anyone else that kind of has to balance like family obligations or anything like that, and kind of like what you have to overcome in terms of being able to plan your progression nights, or just playing in general, really?
I'm sorry, was that directed towards me?
Just anybody in general, not necessarily just you. 'Cause we
Sorry,
did
I got
if you want to
distracted by the chat, so.
I hear you. Yeah, we did. You know, you had mentioned that you guys date night. If you date,
Yeah.
what did I say? Gate night.
Gate night.
Date night.
Gates.
Do you have anything else to add? Because I know you've got a son that stays home while two go to school.
Yeah.
How do you manage to play a little bit during the day while he's there?
Well, during the day, I usually just do stuff that doesn't really require my attention too much. Like, I can run dungeons and stuff like that, but I don't do anything too serious while he's, while he's just by himself. So I'll do, like, lighter game stuff or do fates and things like that, and he'll come sit on my lap and play. He loves that I have a camera now because he is such a little ham. And he's like, can I say hi to them? Can I wave to them? Hi. Did they say hi to me? What are they saying now? I'm like, oh my God. Okay,
That's awesome.
Let me get this fate done, and then mommy will tell you, okay?
Streamer.
Yeah, future streamer
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
Definitely likes being in front of the camera.
And, but for the rest of the time, like, raid nights is Friday and Saturday nights because my mom agreed to watch all 3 kids. And she's like, well, it's okay. We'll just watch Netflix and stuff, and they'll be out of your hair, and you guys could just go do your thing. So we get a few hours on Friday and Saturday night by ourselves where we don't have to really worry about the kids. And our raid team is so awesome, and most of us either know each other in real life or they've been gaming together for, like, years. So they're very understanding. Like, they know if something comes up and I gotta go. So.
That's cool that you have really understanding raid members. Kenji, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, Kenji.
I never do.
Yes, you do.
Aww.
No, I don't know. The best thing, I guess, about, like, gaming with your significant other is never being nagged at for playing video games too much.
Yes.
Hands down the best thing. You can sit and play games all day and nobody's breathing down your neck and giving you a hard time about it. It's cool.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
as far as the kids go, if we didn't have a babysitter, I don't think we'd play as much as we do.
No, we probably wouldn't get any progression done.
I believe it. I didn't get back into Coil until 2 weeks ago, and I stopped in October, so I totally know how that goes. Anybody else with anything that they have to balance in terms of like family or anything? Or
My schedule is absolutely insane. I can't believe we find time to stream and game at all, to be honest. We both work together, and we're both managing a company full time, and then we moved 365 miles away from our family in order to do that, so we have to go home on the weekends, which is conveniently when our raid is scheduled. But it's all about priorities, homies. Like, you just got to schedule it out. You got to iron it out, and it takes a little bit to get used to, because this is what we all do for fun. You know, this is our game time. This is our chill time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take a serious approach to it and you're like, all right, this is the time I have. These are the hours I have free. Let's get to work. Make it happen. It's totally possible. But you have to take a serious approach to it, I think, in order to have success with it when you're really busy, like me and her are anyway.
Yeah, we try to, and with our raiding, like, we make sure to let our raid group know, like, a couple of weeks in advance if we're going to have to go out of town to see our family on the weekend. So we usually try to get things, like, get to a stopping point before we take off, so that we don't like a checkpoint, like make sure we get to like this phase and we have that phase down, and then we can go. Like we don't.
We're not going home until we see ads on Bahamut. Okay,
Right.
that's what she's saying. Right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of sucks, but you just have to do it. You got to do what makes you happy, and that's games. And you have to make sure to make time for that, because if you don't have time for what you love, what do you have time for?
That's deep.
I know.
It is very deep.
Deep quotes by Courtney. Obviously Fahros and Courtney commented on the fact of how busy they are with work and everything. I know, Miz, you've got a job that you're holding down as well, on top of streaming and creating YouTube content too. So how does that work?
It doesn't.
That's crazy.
Honestly, it's I can't do all of those things that you just said at the same time. So because I'm not too great at planning, I sort of neglect certain things. People will notice that I've sort of like neglected YouTube over the past couple months since I started streaming. And then when there's new content out, I'll probably neglect streaming to do the content for YouTube. So the only thing I don't really have control over neglecting is my job. So it basically sort of revolves around that and how much time I have after work to do these two things. And it's usually okay. Let's bring that up.
I can't get mine to stay. It's gotta stay.
I don't know. It's honestly just about having someone that can support you like emotionally through it, because I think the hardest part about everything, or balancing everything, is the stress.
Oh yeah.
And so like there are days, like even today's like a perfect example, because this show started like 45 minutes as soon as I like walked in through the door, and like Braddock, who knew that this was gonna happen, was like on point. He was like, "I'm gonna get dinner ready. Like I've got your clothes out.
Oh,
what
a
can I do to
guy.
help?" Like like
Wow.
Nice.
it's a good thing, and I think it's like that because
Uh-oh.
open relationship where we can like actually communicate what our goals are for the day or for the week or whatever. And if I say, oh my god, I have to do like a podcast and I have no time, like he could just sit there and play whatever he wants, but he doesn't, because obviously he cares. It's like a 2-person team relationship, not a me versus you. So I think because of that it makes it easier, right? And kind of like what Kenji said, like if you're not being nagged for doing all this stuff, like I'm sure Braddock could just like be like, "Miss, you just got home and you're not spending any time with me. You're gonna go play with your internet friends." Oh my god. Sometimes. So I don't know. I feel like when it comes to relationships, like if you can find someone that has like common interests, like gaming, for example. So first off, you're not feeling bad for doing something that you enjoy doing. You can do it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have moments or days where you are like rushing to do something or to accomplish something, you have that other person there that has your back. So kind of like what Courtney and Fahros have. So I don't know. I feel like it's awesome. It's hard to balance everything, but because of that, it's second person. It's not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, you have to have somebody who's supportive of what you do, because that was really
Yeah.
tough for me for a while, like with my art and stuff like that, and trying to stream and doing everything else. Like,
Yeah.
I'm completely shocked that like you two that have kids can manage that, because I can hardly manage my time as is.
Seriously.
Or those of you who hold like really long jobs and stuff like that. Like I work from home. And even still, I struggle to keep like a good balance there. And he helps make sure, like when he sees I'm getting too stressed, even though he's not technically there, he'll be like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, do you need help? Like, message so many times out. Do we need to try to fix anything?" And it's just really helpful to have that other person when I'm so locked down with too much stuff going on in my head, that he can like back me up and like help make sure that I'm taking care of myself and I'm doing this other stuff to make sure that I can keep everything still flowing and not like break myself down. Or, if it's just like, "Hey, we don't need to hang out tonight. Do you need to work on work? You seemed really stressed out. Do you need to work on some of your work instead?" And I'm like, "Can I?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll just do something else completely chill. Whatever, it's not a big deal." And I'm like,
All these super supportive
Axel sounds.
significant others. Well, how do the men feel about having like such their significant others being such prominent broadcasters? Rin, obviously with her art and video games, doing multiple things over there. And then, you know, we got Fahros and Achi. Hubby's not here, so I can't sit here and ask him how he feels about me streaming. But let's start with Rahhzay, since we were just listening from Rin. We know that you're a good supporter and keeping her on track. How do you feel with her being, you know, being a streamer, and how that works for your relationship?
I'm actually really proud of her, and you know, some of it has kind of rubbed off on me. I never thought I'd actually stream myself. Like, I do some casual streaming, like I'm not looking to make it big or whatever, but you know, I do that too sometimes to entertain some of her friends, and because they like some of the games that I play too. Because
Hearthstone.
yeah, like Hearthstone, for example. I mean, when the expansions come out for both Guild Wars 2 and 14, I'm gonna be with her a lot. So, you know, it's a team thing for us now. So it's just a part of what we do together.
That's pretty cool. And Fahros and Courtney kind of have their own team thing going on. You see the Courtney cam pop up on Fahros' stream a lot. But I want to know, Fahros, how do you feel about Courtney just starting out and streaming by herself?
Oh, it's I'm super proud of her as well. It's something where no offense, I just think I don't know if you ever would have done it unless we were in this relationship. Just because here's why I'm so proud of her. She's so shy, okay? So it took her having a lot of courage just to get the Courtney cam up. Like, that was a step. That was not just, hey, let's put yourself on my stream. And she's like, oh, no. But, so seeing her take her own stream night over and stream her own game that's, like, really not connected to me whatsoever is just, it's awesome. And I have a ton of fun hanging out and watching the stream myself, so it's been cool.
But you do awesome. Woo! Yay!
Thanks.
Kenji.
Kenji, do you want to comment on how you feel about Achi streaming?
He's thinking.
Oh, okay. I heard like a grunt or something over there. I was like,
It doesn't bother me. Listening to her talk to herself in the back of the room is a little weird. But I don't know. For the most part, it doesn't bug me. She does her own thing, and it keeps her occupied and not bothering me. So, I mean,
So much love.
All right. Yeah.
I don't want to sit over here and play Destiny while you sit over there and do nothing, and then I'm being a douchebag. So it's something that keeps you occupied while I do other things.
that's what gaming relationships is all about, right? As long as you both, we got the mustaches coming out. I feel like I need one.
Mine's getting uncomfortable.
You're not cool enough.
I'm not. I
Being
know.
Achi.
Mine's actually sticky, so it's like pulling on my face. I'm trying to smile and it's pulling.
Oh my gosh. Well, so what kind of advice do you guys have for other couples and you know, players that are parents, gamers that work full time? What kind of advice do you guys have for them? How about Rin and Rahhzay? What kind of advice do you guys have?
I would have to say just be patient with one another and always talk stuff out. Like, that's probably like the biggest thing for relationships in general, and it works for this type of area as well, like branching out into Twitch and streaming and gaming, is that you both understand what you're trying to accomplish and achieve. And once you know that, you can start like, okay, well, I'd really like to stream, so can I set aside 3 hours every other week or something like that to stream? And then on these specific days, we'll go hang out, or, you know, try to compromise back and forth. It would be, you have to, like, if the other person really isn't into streaming, that's okay too. Like, they don't have to be Miz, your dog, sorry. Oh, thank you.
Aww. Now I
Sorry.
feel like I need Asher.
Sorry, continue.
I'm super easily distracted. You know, just being able to talk and communicate, because if the other person's not going to be into it, you have to compromise for them too, and just compromise for each other. Like, that's really how it's going to work, streaming or not, you know. So good luck with that, and it's really fun if you guys can work it out. Like, I've been having a blast with him, so.
Achi, what kind of advice would you have for parents that game? Not necessarily mommy gamers like you and I, but just you know, any parental unit and trying to find time for gaming and beyond.
Well, I would say you just have to find your balance. It was real hard for me. That's why I didn't have a schedule, because I had to find the balance between an okay time to stream and when it was time to spend time with the kids and take care of my responsibilities. You hear stories all the time about parents like ignoring their kids and bad things happen, and that's just not good. So let's not do that, and just try and find a happy balance where you can still give your kids the love and attention that they need, but still be able to do what you want to do.
Sorry. I was
like, it got real
so
quiet.
distracted by like the mustaches and then I don't know.
Focus.
Accept them.
I
Accept the mustaches.
I don't. I just can't stop like laughing. I'm sitting here trying to like not laugh while Achi's answer.
Talking about serious things.
I know.
Should I take it off?
No, it's okay. I think I'll get over it. I just can't take either of you seriously. Do you guys feel that this game is has a good platform for players that can't afford to spend 12 hours a day? Your
Definitely.
the parental unit gamer, the full-time job gamer, and as opposed to those really grindy Korean type MMOs, if you will.
Compared to other MMOs, this game is really geared towards casual players. The progression curve isn't very high, and it's fairly easy to do most things on your own.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's a good middle ground because having played most MMOs that have come on the market, some are super grindy and some are super casual oriented. I feel like 14's in a good spot because you can definitely tell the difference right off the bat from a player that puts in a ton of time and really has their character mastered and really has best in slot. You could tell without even looking at the guy, just from playing with him, that's that guy. But on the other hand, if you don't have 40 hours a week to put into the game, you could totally still get stuff done. Like me and her don't have that much time. Some of our raid members don't have that much time, and we're on the last boss in the game. Like you can. I feel like it's perfect. It's in a good spot, in my opinion.
Agree.
Ditto.
Wow. Well.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree.
Yeah, I think so too, and especially because there's so much different stuff you can do in the game. Like, if you're not interested in the raid or you just don't have time to raid, you can craft your heart away. Like, you can do PvP casually. You can level every single class to 50, like Rahhzay. You can do whatever you want. There's so much variety in the game that it allows for you to do whatever you want if you don't have time to do the super grindy stuff like getting to best in slot gear and rating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely have to agree with what you guys have all said. This game is definitely one that's very good for the casual and hardcore alike. There's a little bit of something for everybody, or even like the midcore, like I would consider myself. I feel it does lend itself really well to couples. There's a lot of things that you guys can do together.
Definitely.
Dungeons, raiding. I don't even know, going around doing fates just because people want to do that. I don't know. But I think like a piece of advice that I would have is, just make sure you're spending as much time outside of the game, or like at least some time outside of the game with your significant other, still harnessing that relationship in the real world, not making it all, unless obviously you've got distance between you, Rin and Rain. But because I've been there, I know how that goes. It's really hard, and obviously you try to see each other whenever you can. But you guys talk to each other on Skype and just like have your own like conversations outside of the game. You're still doing things that aren't solely encompassed in the game. We're doing real life things, guys. So just that's one thing that I would definitely have to say. And also, word of advice for all you single people: don't go looking for a significant other in a video game.
Yes.
It will just happen.
Yeah.
It always just magically
Okay.
happens when you least expect it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I feel like that's not even just in game, because that's one question.
That's
I don't know
in
if you
general.
guys get that a lot.
Yeah.
Is like, how do I find an awesome gamer girl or guy or whatever, someone that's interested in the same thing as me? I'm like, okay, here's Here's advice piece number 1. Stop looking.
Yeah.
That actually just happened in my chat like 2 nights ago. Somebody was asking me advice, and I was like, "Yay, advice time with Achi! Yay!" So,
What kind of advice did you give them?
Well, I told them to treat them like normal people. Like, I know some guys will be like, "Oh my God, I must praise her like the goddess that has just come down from the heavens and graced me with her presence."
Really?
Please don't
Oh my gosh.
We're like, "Okay, creepo, bye."
Yeah.
You know, treat them like normal people because they're normal people. They just happen to like the same stuff you do.
Yeah.
It was a lot longer than that, but I don't want to like take up the whole show.
Yeah. You don't walk into the club and be like, looking for item level 130 GF. That's not how you right? That's a no.
That's what I
That's a
do.
negative.
Like Kenji just said, there's a small chance that could work. Like you just randomly something
Small.
It like
Small
opens
chance.
the door, and like people that play that same game will be like, "I know what that means," and then you
Yeah,
start
like
a
there.
conversation
to the
True.
game and they'll be like,
Play
"Oh,
it on the table.
Wow, with all of that, I totally forgot what I was going to say. Thanks a lot, guys.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Let's get back on track with something else. And then maybe I'll remember later. Here's another fun question. Who is the better player, Ms.?
Braddock, definitely. I
Better-
feel like Braddock has this like natural. I don't know. I think it's. You know how there's like people that just whatever they can do, they can like pick up a controller or start doing something and immediately they're like really good and you hate them for it. Yeah, that's Braddock. But I don't know. Braddock has always been really, really good, especially in MMOs. Like he's been any class that I've seen him play, he plays it very well. And he likes to yell at me, and in turn, it makes me like strive to be better at the same time. He's probably a terrible tank, though. I will say that. I don't know.
He still pushes you to be better. So
Yeah, like he also doesn't let me slip either. So, for example, if I am learning a new class or whatever, doing something completely like wrong, he'll be like, "Miss, get good," and like actually, make sure that I'm on top of things. I don't know, but I think it's because we have the same mentality where if we're gonna do something like play an MMO, we're gonna try to do it as decently as possible. So he is always there to like make sure that I'm not an idiot. So that's why I would say, I don't know, I think he's definitely the better player. He's probably like sitting there gloating.
What about anybody else want to comment? I don't want to call on anybody in case it's a sore subject.
Who's better, Courtney?
I think you're definitely better.
No, you make less mistakes.
Well, okay. I make less mistakes, but I do less DPS than the other DPS classes.
That doesn't
so
play a black.
I'm
It's
just very,
whatever.
very cautious.
Don't-
But you just have so much experience in MMOs altogether that it would be hard for me to even catch up to the level.
I've been playing since I was like 12 years old.
So yeah, you're way more experienced. I mean, I have better reaction time than you, but that's about it. I mean,
Oh,
Girl?
look at that face!
I'm a dodger. I dodge.
All right, next.
Oh, he don't even want to comment on the fact that she called you out on your dodging skills.
I'm not talking about
I'm
it.
gonna call out Rahhzay on this one. Rahhzay, who do you think's better, you or Matt?
Me.
Owned.
I think we're both very skilled players. I mean, we've raided together before and stuff, but I think that my patience is like a huge plus when we play. He doesn't have a lot of it. So like half the time when we do raid together or even do dungeons together or anything, I'm sitting there having to like kind of like keep him like calm down. He's got a tendency he wants to troll, all right? So I have to be the one to kind of reel him in a little bit. I'm, the sweet lovable one that wants to make everybody happy, and I'm like this people pleaser and all this stuff. And like he's the complete opposite sometimes. He doesn't care if people hate him or whatever. I'm not that I care either, but like he will purposely like push other people's buttons. So I'm like the one reeling him in. His patience level on rating is just ridiculous. So I'm sitting here trying to push us to go like 2-3 hours, and he's ready to quit at like hour 1. I'm like, no, we're gonna do this. You're gonna sit down. You're gonna, play your tank, just aggro and do the things. So not trying to throw him under the bus, but my patience, I think, wins out on this one.
Patience is a lot.
Makes sense.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I was trying not to choke that whole time. Because everything you guys were saying, he was going, I don't do any of those things. Like, oh!
But he does, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he totally doesn't care what anybody thinks, and he's all like, forget you guys, and, raging out and stuff, and I'm just
also
like,
the better player.
Oh,
well, yeah, you're also the best player.
Rage.
This is State of the Realm ripping apart relationships.
Oh my God. It's begun.
In gaming, not.
Final Fantasy Explorer.
It's Final Fantasy Force Court.
What's your most moment? Like just like this moment where you could have been like embarrassing, frustrating, awkward. Like what kind of like just weird moments have you had with your significant other? Ms., let's let you go first.
So this kind of ties into what Achi was just saying about or even what you were saying about patience. So, for example, Braddock tends to, I don't know if you can hear my dog right now. He wants steak, but
Who doesn't?
thing that is his own fault. He tends to super hardcore rage out, and I always notice it, but he doesn't, and I always laugh at him for it, which makes him rage even more. And also, when I die to something that's my fault, cat appearance.
Casa parade.
I do sort of the same thing, and I think that kind of creates a bit of tension sometimes, especially in games that aren't MMOs. Like if I'm playing Metal Gear Solid, I will get so ragey because I hate controllers, and he'll be like, "Why are you raging? Just relax." But then in a completely different game where he's dying, he'll do the exact same thing. So every now and then it'll get a bit frustrating because he doesn't see it, and I probably don't see it when I rage out. So it's kind of I don't know, just noticing those little moments are always the, ugh, what are we doing? But yeah, I don't know. We don't have a specific moment that I was ever embarrassed, unless it's Hollowed Ground not going off, which happens.
Miz, where's your shield off?
I remember one.
That actually happens a lot. I forgot about that. It's I blank it out of my memory, but yes, that actually happened yesterday.
You're no, I don't need shield oath. I'm just pulling the deeps.
Yeah,
You ever
I always say
call him
that.
out
It was on purpose.
You ever call him out for having cleric stance on or something?
Oh,
No,
dude.
because he never makes that
Lord.
mistake, and I hate him for it. He's too perfect at Scholar.
He's paying attention for the one
Messed
time
up.
he does it, you have to rub it into his face. Just
Yeah.
look at what you did.
Surprisingly, he doesn't mess up in MMOs too much, but there are other games where he'll die. And sorry, my cat is attacking me. And it's funny because I'll call him out on it, and he gets so butthurt. But it's sweet, sweet payback for all the times in Final Fantasy where he yells at me.
Anybody else? Fahros? Courtney?
Oh, I have so many embarrassing moments. The most embarrassing in Final Fantasy when I was playing with her, I don't even know if you remember. Do you remember what boss I'm about to talk about?
No.
What if I say, if you're doing this, you're doing it wrong?
No.
You don't remember? Okay.
You go ahead.
We're on Twintania back when Twintania was the last boss.
Oh my god.
And she was hard. And newbie little Fahros is still new to Final Fantasy XIV. He's still figuring things out, but he's trying to raid lead. And we're learning dive bombs on Twintania. Okay, so everyone in here knows if they have done Coil, when people first learn dive bombs, it's ugly. And I'm standing in the little pocket next to the wall, and I'm like, listen, you just need to run from here to here, here to here. And then I run too far, and I'm like, if you're going out to here, you're doing it wrong. And Twintania aggroes me, all her dragons fly in, and I just get got, during the explanation. And the team speak, I'm trying to teach them to fight, and it just erupts with laughter. No one can contain it.
Yeah, that was very funny.
That was the worst.
Wow.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But that's my embarrassing moment.
For me, it was actually when we were streaming one night. We were streaming turn 11, And with Fahros being the raid leader, of course, he has to call people out on their mistakes. He's very nice about it, and he always provides constructive criticism, but I'm very sensitive, so as soon as he called me out on my, like, one tiny little mistake, I, like, instantly, like, I felt awful, and I was like, why did you do that? Oh, I'm sorry. He's like, I was just trying to tell you, it's okay, it's not your fault, we can get through this, and I'm like, wow, I just overreacted completely, and it was on stream, and I felt terrible. So, I mean...
I remember that, but I don't remember the fight.
Yeah.
No, it's hard, though. I mean, it's hard doing everything on stream, and, like, learning everything on stream. I don't know how the rest of you do it, but that's rough.
But yeah, he's just like, it's okay. I was just telling you. And I'm like, you're right. I'm sorry. I was just being ridiculous. And it was fine after that. But it was at the time really embarrassing because it happened on stream. And so I feel like that's something like that all of you can relate to. If something happens on stream, it just makes that all the more embarrassing. Because everyone sees it and you're like, no.
You get
Everyone
used to
thinks
it,
I'm a
though.
monster now.
Yeah.
Over time, it just doesn't matter anymore.
I sometimes have to mute myself because, like, when Matt and I used to raid, he'd, like, say something at me, and it just turns into, like the whole pushing buttons bit. Like, it sounds like he's snipping at me, but it's just, like, or back when we used to play League of Legends, I'd be like, buy boots. And then, for whatever reason, that somehow meant, like, you're bad, and, like, I'm raging at him, but I was just like, just buy boots. And so it just, like, that was before I streamed, I think, but we just know something that seems so innocent for anybody else, I think, like, sometimes gets, like, a different, like, not necessarily connotation, but different, like, level of meaning when you guys are playing together. And you just, like, everything annoys each other. I don't know. That's at least for me and Matt. What about Rin and Rain? You guys have, like, any moments where you guys are kind of, like, embarrassing, frustrating, or anything together?
We're both completionists, and we react to it in somewhat similar yet different kinds of ways. In general, competitive things, she gets kind of salty when she's, losing or whatever. Like, when I make a mistake, I'm just, like, really hard on myself.
Okay. I get salty for a reason, though, and that's, like, I'm trying to learn Hearthstone, okay? I don't know competitive card games, okay? This boy's been playing Magic for a really long time, and I all I did was I collected Pokemon cards. I still have my collection, right? So he's like, oh, so you should have done this, this, and this. I'm like, okay. And then he does again, like, every single move I do, he's like, actually, you should have done this. I'm like, will you let me learn? Like, I'm dying, and I'm like, I don't understand. Just do it for me. And I'm
So
like,
the correct play, just so you know.
just so you know. And I'm like, let me learn. And then I'm like, can you teach me these? He's like, I just tried to teach you it. And I'm like, I don't know how to make this work, man.
What about Achi and Kenji? Anything?
I want you to go first.
So, the most embarrassing moment for Achi, which was caught on stream, we were doing T9 and we were in progression, and she repelling shots off of a mob right into
It
the
wasn't
wall.
T9, it was T5.
Oh my god. It was so bad. And now every single stage we play that has like a destructive barrier or a cliff you can fly off of, the whole raid group has to remind her not to backflip off the edge of the ring.
And it was T5.
We do that with our bard, too.
With style, Achi. No, you just be like, I'm freaking fabulous, and you like back up in slow motion with stars. And you're like, I'm fabulous. We're done with this.
It was T5, and I had just rearranged my buttons, so I thought I was like hitting Bloodletter, but I hit Repelling Shot, and I just went whoosh, right into the wall. I was like, oh, you guys totally didn't see that. That did not just happen.
It's a moment she will never let down as long as we play with these people.
They always remind me every single time we're raiding. They're like, oh, remember, Achi, what does this wall do? So what do you not do? Oh,
Touch it.
I don't know. For me, though, I don't think I have any embarrassing moments
Yeah,
for
it's
you.
because I don't screw up.
You do too.
That humble brag.
Sure, poison's on all the time.
Hey, no poisons, still top DPS in T13. I'm still doing my job.
This
Okay.
is actually true. this is actually true. He's like, why am I not doing as much DPS?
The only
I don't have my
reason-
poisons on.
The only reason I noticed I don't have poisons is because ACT clocks me under 600 DPS.
So I don't have any embarrassing moments with him. It's not fair.
Apparently, he's too perfect or too awesome to really warrant being embarrassed or anything of the like.
I don't know. You watched something once, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah,
It
you
never
did.
happens.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Never.
How about we kick it back to you guys with what's your best memory of playing together?
Beating turn 9.
Yes. Beating turn 9.
We spent 15 weeks on
No.
turn 9.
It was like
Whoa.
17 weeks on turn 9.
my.
Turn 9 was brutal for our group.
So bad. And then we
You guys,
finally
like,
did it.
Jump up and down like.
I have it's highlighted, and I actually had to put a warning into my highlights saying,
Yeah, there's a
please turn down
headphones
your
warning.
if you're wearing headphones, please take them off.
Oh wow.
That's
Because
awesome.
I scream at the top of my lungs. My mom was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm fine. I'm fine." We just won.
9.
I was
Yeah.
like, like at the top of my lungs.
Turn 9 was brutal for our group.
So, oh my god, I am so glad we don't have to go back there. Okay,
You're like,
so
we're
that's-
done. Never going back.
Now they want to do Savage, and I'm like, no.
You should. It's fun.
You want to go to Savage? Somebody, I'll go.
Right.
It would be something new. 'cause
Yeah, we're
Farming
looking for-
T13 is getting old.
Yeah, we're looking for new content, so maybe.
I like how Miz said Savage was fun, and she started off smiling, and the smile faded within like 2 seconds
I was like,
of
oh yeah,
saying
it's
Savage
fun.
was fun.
Wait a minute.
Never mind.
Like the whole fight flashed before her eyes, and she
It
was
did.
like,
I started thinking about it.
Aw. Well, Fahros and Courtney, any like really good, awesome memories or any like?
You want me to go first, or you want to?
you can go.
My favorite memory, this is gonna sound cheesy, is all Kupo. But so we started off playing WoW, and after me and her played WoW and she didn't really get into it that much, I was thinking like, oh man, I blew it. You know, like it's gonna be so hard to get her to play another MMO. So this sort of ties into earlier actually. We were talking about like who talked to into playing the game. So I finally talked her into trying 14 with me. And this is also after she didn't have a PC at the time, so she tried it on PlayStation 3, baited Realm Reborn, and hated it. Hated it. So
Hated the controls.
yeah. So I got a new system and gave her my old one, and she got the chance to try it on PC. So she tried it and then loved it. She spent like 20 minutes in character creation, and we both made our characters
Just
together.
20?
Yeah,
More than that,
Well-
probably.
Yeah, it was a while, and then we got into the game, and this is my favorite memory because we got in and while we were trying to raid and we were trying to do arena and we were trying to do all this hardcore stuff, but we just got into 14, and the first thing we did was just stand in Ul'dah, and we went through like all the emotes. We were like, wow, this game has so many emotes, and we were just doing them and like taking screenshots. We took screenshots for like a half hour to an hour.
Yeah, it was like an hour.
That's-
Just taking screenshots together.
All we did that night, we made characters and took screenshots and did emotes. And I remember logging off that night and being like, that's cool. I'm so happy she likes the game, and we don't even really have to be doing anything. It's just playing the game together. So that's one of my favorite moments. I know it's cheesy, but we were just starting the game.
Yeah.
Rain? Anything? I know you guys got the long distance thing going, so I wonder if you guys have any sappy lovey-dovey stories or anything. No.
I have to say for me, it's also pretty sappy as El Cupo, as Fahros so eloquently put it. The first day that I started really realizing that I was falling for this kid, I was having a bad time, and him and I just sat down. It's really sappy, but I remember the place exactly. Where we laid on Guild Wars 2, like both of our characters just staring up at the stars, and we just talked for like 2 hours in game, and that's all we did. We just sat there and talked, and he was there for me, and we were just talking about stuff, and then we were just talking about our lives and things we liked and TV shows and video games. And I still remember that so much about I was just laying there like on my computer just typing, and I'm like, I feel like I'm actually there with him. This is really cute. I like him. And, so like 2 days later, I think I finally confessed that like I had a super crush on him. So I think that's probably my biggest ever. And then like Fahros and Courtney, like we take screenshots all the time together. Like we'll find a cool place. Yeah. Like, let's go right here, and we'll be like, and he's like, what? I'm like, picture, look at the, like this flower makes like a heart, and we can like sit right here between it. Yeah. So I really love doing that. So do you have anything else?
That has to be the best.
Yeah.
Actually.
I think it's kind of a memory for both of us. It was a really good like 3 days that just kind of happened for us. So.
Aw. About Miz, anything with you and Braddock? I'm probably saying his name like wrong. I think I pronounce it something different every single time I say it.
What part do you put the emphasis on? So
I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Exactly.
Every time.
I don't know if we really have. Well, we probably do have like sappy things like that, but honestly, it's been kind of a long time that I don't really remember. But honestly, I feel like anytime that we defeat a boss together, like, I don't know, like on stream, sometimes you'll see me and Braddock like high-fiving, and it's like a thing that we do no matter what. So we have been, and we've always sat next to each other. So this is like from like, wow, like just killing bosses there, high five. Like a couple months ago, turn 13, high five. Like, I don't know, it's just a thing that we do, and it's kind of silly and whatever, but we're just like genuinely excited for each other. Or if someone's loot drops, like once his he finally got like his healer chest, and I was like, yes, high five. I don't know, so it's just I think it's more, instead of like specific moments, it's the idea that we can literally sit next to each other and like have or gain so much enjoyment from like the same thing. I don't know, it's awesome. Like, I probably would be very bored if I didn't have him. So it's good to have someone that you can share that excitement. Because if I can like scream, like when I used to live at my mom's house, I would scream and be like, yes, we just killed Lich King. And she'll be like, what? What's a Lich? Like, Reddick, I can be like, yeah, like he's right there the entire time, and he gets it. So I don't know, like I think just having the person is the special thing. Like being able to share that with someone and have them understand is usually the best part.
Yeah. Derail for like 2 seconds. How many of you have had your parents come in when you're screaming really loud and they're like, is everything okay? And it's like, yeah, I just beat this awesome boss. And like, I just defeated this awesome game of League of Legends. And they're like, what the are you talking about?
Yep.
Like, okay, sorry.
It's part of the reason why I moved out.
Yeah.
When I lived with my old man, he just stopped caring. Like I said.
Same way right now. She's like, I gave up. Like, she'll tell people, she's like, if you hear her screaming in her room when she's like, when other people are over, she's like, just don't worry about it. I'm like,
I just envision him like shrugging in the other room and shaking his head and being like, why did I ever buy him a Sega Genesis?
Oh my gosh. My mom is definitely like the same way. Like, for me to sit here and explain to her that I stream and what that is was actually like really, really funny. And the fact that we're family friendly on my stream, that in itself was even funnier, because as like we were doing the transition, she'd come over and drop some word that's not Kupo-fied, and I'd have to be like, Mom, Kupo. And she's like, what did I say? And then just like walk away. But it's funny because now, she'll come over and she'll take care of Anna, and she just hears me talking to myself, essentially. Matt will be at work. She's over there. You hear Anna in the background babbling with my mom, and then I'll be saying something, and she'll just start laughing hysterically over there because apparently I'm funny when I stream. But back to what Miz had said about the high fives and stuff, like Matt and I, we've done that ever since we've like lived together. It's just like, our first gaming center, I guess, was like this really small desks that were like really high. We basically had to sit on stools, and that's how we gamed for like in our first apartment. And so they were like two small desks like butted up against each other. So like I was looking at my monitor, and then he had like his like face like that. So I would have to like I like kind of like sit up on my stool and we'd high five each other over our monitors. Now we have been sitting next to each other, but for every little thing, like, oh, I got an Atma drop, high five, you know, like we got turn 13. Now he gets all, or I didn't get turn 13, but like example, I'll be like, oh, I beat turn 11, and he's just like, I'm on turn 6, but he'll give me a high five anyway, like moral support type thing. But yeah. I don't know what Fahros is doing.
Congrats.
Congrats, kind of. Does anybody else have anything else they want to discuss in terms of, you know, loving gaming or maybe anything for, you know, parents out there or full-time workers?
For the
or
homies
anything?
at home?
Yeah.
For the homies at home, they were talking about this earlier. Wait for the right one. Wait for the one you're compatible with, that you're going to be able to enjoy all these things that you love to do with. Don't try to force a relationship. And, you know, even you kids in high school, like, I haven't been out of high school that long. It's actually been like 8 years. We're not going to talk about that anyway. But I remember in high school, like, I used to get a ton of trash. Like, dude, why don't you have a girlfriend? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? And part of me wanted to just run out and get a girlfriend like all the other dudes at school when I was in high school. But part of me knew that, no, I like doing the things I do, and I don't really know of anyone that would be doing this with me right now. So I waited it out, and it was worth, because I got this one right next to me now that's on turn 13 with me, that live streams with me, and it's awesome. So wait it out. That's the best advice I could give to anyone in the chat right now. Wait it out. It's worth it.
Some good advice. What kind of advice did you guys have for somebody who maybe is in a relationship but their significant other doesn't game?
Oh, just make it look good. Make it look good.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to learn to compromise, and don't push the issue. If they really don't want to play, do not make them play. You know, if they want to play, if they think it looks awesome, you know, give them that support and help them. But if they really don't want to play, don't push the issue. You're just gonna piss them off. And, you know, you guys have to learn a compromise. You know, the one that doesn't game has to know what gaming's about to try and compromise with that. Yeah. And, you know, vice versa. They got to be understanding of, they don't play games, they don't, you know, they're not in this kind of stuff. I shouldn't, like, push stuff onto them and things like that. That's the best advice I can give.
I have to even say, even if your significant other is a gamer, because I've ran into this issue, is a gamer but doesn't like the games that you're playing, you still have to compromise. Like, if they're going to give you a whole bunch of Kupo because you're playing a game that they don't like, it's probably not going, like, they can't give you, you have to compromise. You have to both be willing and working stuff out, like you said, Aki. If you can't, then there's probably, I'm sorry, Aki. If you can't, then you probably should, you know, reevaluate your situation and try to talk stuff out and see if it's going to work or not. Because, I mean, if they're going to be rude to you because of the things that you like, even though you're trying to compromise and be helpful to them, it's a two-way street. Like, you have to both be able to work together.
Yeah. Can I be negative?
Negative, Nancy?
Yeah, well, okay, so this is not for 100% of relationships, so don't be like, Miss, I can prove you wrong. I'm just saying, from my experience, I honestly think for someone where gaming is such like a huge part of your life, like for example, for me, I come home and I play video games for 8 hours and then I go to sleep and go to work. And it's like a cycle. Like, it's so ingrained into my life. Like, there is absolutely no way that I could be with someone that probably did not game. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people that are in relationships that are like, oh, my girlfriend hates video games, and oh, I can't raid tonight, guys, because my girlfriend says I can't. Like, I feel like those relationships are not going to work out ever. Like, I'm sorry, you're like, if you can't communicate and like grow with each other and like be interested in what the other person is like interested with, I feel like, I'm sorry to say, like, I just don't see a future with you guys, with the two people. But I don't know, like, I feel like you can try to work on it, but in my experience, it does not work. And without having like a person that is inherently the exact same almost as you, you're probably going to have a hard time, especially when it comes to something like gaming. Because there are, like, I've seen so many instances where like one person will say, oh, like, so and so doesn't like it when I game, so I have to like limit myself. That leads to resentment. That leads to like, you know, people not actually expressing how they feel about certain things and not really realizing that, like, the number of times I've heard like wives saying, oh man, I don't want you gaming so much because you're supposed to do this instead. I feel like, no, like, just live your
I like
life,
how
be
wives
happy.
was in quotes.
Well, I
Is
don't
there
know, because that's the
quotes?
only, like, I've
Wives.
only ever heard of it like that. I'm sorry, like, that's just the stereotype. I don't mean to be, like, sexist, but
No, it's good.
I don't know. So I feel like you inherently need to have, like, common interests. Or if you don't have common interests, you need to be, like, open. You can't just say, oh, like, I don't like this about you, and expect the other person to change. I feel like,
if it's such a like important part of their life,
Yeah.
for lack of a
Oh,
better
yeah.
term, you know, I mean, it's not like you can just turn that off. So I agree with you 100%. So I was along the same page. I think just saying, you know, wait it out for someone where
You think
that's not
about
an
it.
issue with. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The
Oh, you're
lag,
good.
I guess, got me. Now I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh no.
Train
I think
derail.
it
On a
probably,
Rahhzay.
as you age and as you mature and as you have like more relationships and get more experience, you sort of understand it a lot more. Because when I was younger, I was like convinced that the downfalls of not having the same sort of mentality were okay, like something I could deal with. And over time, you start to realize that you are trying to find someone that you're hopefully going to spend a majority of the rest of your life with. And why would you like change yourself? Why would you try to change someone else? Like, it's not fair to them, it's not fair to you. It just leads to so many like issues that I honestly believe that if you, like Fahros said, wait for the right person, where you at, like with Radek and I, not to humble brag or anything, but it was so easy. And like people are always asking me like, oh, Ms., how did you find Braddock? Like, how are you in such a great relationship? How do I find someone like that? And they're like, oh, complaining about their girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. And I feel like a lot of the times it's just easy. It just comes naturally. It falls into place.
It
And I
should
know
be
that sounds
easy.
like black magic, but it really is.
No.
Like, you just find someone that is, you know, just a second version of you or close enough that, you know, you don't have to settle for something where it's going to affect the, like, or change your life or whatever. I'm kind of ranting here, but I see it a lot. Like, I deal with so many people that are like, oh, how do I get my girlfriend to play video games? Or how do I get my boyfriend to enjoy whatever? And I'm just like, if it's not there already, if you're having that much of a trouble starting that off, like maybe you're not with the right person. And it's so hard for people to accept that, obviously. But I don't know. I feel like relationships aren't that hard. Like, if you are, I don't know. Now I'm just preaching. Sorry.
Bring up a lot of really good points. I mean, that's pretty much where you have to draw the line. There's a specific point where you're trying and you can kind of make it work, but after so much, like if it's not going to, and you're like trying to find reasons, or you're trying to make reasons and excuses to make it happen, you're, like you said, you're probably not with the right person. That's a hard thing to kind of accept.
Yeah.
I know that there are people that make it work, you know, in one way or another. And I tell people that are like, you know, they're not into gaming or whatever. You know, what I say is like, I hope that they have their own hobby because, you know, gaming, especially MMOs, are very time consuming. And so if they have another hobby or something that they can focus on at the same time, and you guys, you know, still have that, you know, good mode of communication when you're not, you know, playing or whatever, I think that it can still work. It's just, you know, it depends on how okay with your significant other is with it, and some kind of, you know, become okay with it or more okay with it over time, and kind of like learn to accept it. And but I mean, it obviously it takes a little extra effort, a little extra work to get there. I've actually known people. I've had people tell me, and this is before I even streamed, that they actually would get. They actually would tell me that they wouldn't even tell their significant other that they were a gamer. Like, it was like this secret. Like it was
Why
like,
would you hide that? Oh,
I know. Like I would have people like they'd be like, oh, hang on, I gotta go. I gotta leave. You know, my girlfriend's coming home. She doesn't know I game, and I'm like, I was like,
Okay.
how do you hide this fact? Like, do you like sit in the closet like with your keyboard and mouse or like controller with the TV in there or something, just so that she doesn't know? Or like they would like do it like really late at night where like she's sleeping or something. And I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I can't.
You got a secret set up in the bathroom or something.
I know, right? It's like, oh, excuse me, I need to use the restroom really quick. Go play like a quick game of COD or something. I don't know.
I hope that's
But-
what everyone takes away from this. You don't have to hide it. There are people out there that are
Yes.
going to enjoy your hobbies just like you.
yeah.
You know,
You have to
can do
hide it, then there's a problem, and you
Yeah.
need to fix that. So does anybody else have anything else to add? We're kind of like coming up at the end here, and I think we've covered a lot of really good topics.
I had just a little thing. I wanted to play devil's advocate for a second.
Uh-oh.
Like,
Here we go.
no, if your significant other isn't into gaming, but they let you do it however much you want, like they're okay with it, make sure that you put the same effort in to pay attention to them as well. Like, if you're gaming all the time and they don't bother you about it,
Yeah,
like
it's not a
make
problem.
sure that you set aside some time to spend time with them. Just because they're okay with it doesn't mean it's nurturing the relationship, you know? So it's you gotta have compromise on both sides. So I just wanted to add that too, just, you know, as an
To
extra
add to
little
that,
2 cents.
Courtney, I've also noticed that people that say they're okay with it, or at least in my experience, will say they're okay with it, but like slyly hope that that you notice that you want them to actually do something else. Play the whole mind games thing.
Mind games,
So
yeah.
my
Yeah.
tip and number one advice is talk to your partner. Like always, even if it's like something small where you're just like, okay, like I'm okay with you playing the game tonight, but I would really like to watch a movie or something like that. Like
Yeah.
I feel like so many people just don't talk to each other, and like the feelings start to just boil over, and like it all turns to resentment, and you do not want that. Like that just leads to divorce or
Yeah.
breakups, like I
Exactly.
feel like as long as you maintain open lines of communication, like nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
And as long as the other
communication.
person on the other end is open to listening and to like understanding what your concerns are, I feel like you'll be okay.
It's an IRL raid. You have to communicate, or else it's just not
Exactly.
going to work.
Yep.
Rin with the analogies over here. By the way, I just want to say, Rin, I'm super proud of you for all the coupons that you've dropped today instead of
Today. I've been doing really good today. I'm so proud of myself.
like someone mentioned it in the chat. And I was like, actually, I have noticed that she's been saying a lot of cupo
We've
instead
been pretty
of
good about the coupons, yeah.
yeah, keeping it nice and clean for the most part, which we don't have to do because this isn't my channel. But
Trying to be good for a lax interview kind of thing, Like,
right, no, that's good. It's nice and we're all good, professional. And I don't know why I'm sitting like this. Hang on. Trying to get comfortable. I don't know. But anyway, so we'll call that here the end. Let's let everybody know where to find us, right? Let's start off with Achi. Achi, tell the awesome people here in the chat where they can find you.
Why do I have to go first? Okay.
Because I picked on you.
Yeah, I know. Like, I've never done the closing thing. So, I guess you guys can find me on my Twitch channel at www.twitch.tv/Achikat. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, which is, just facebook.com/Achi, Achi Hayashi or Achikat? Achi Hayashi. And then Twitter is the same thing at Achi Hayashi on Twitter. And that's pretty much all I have.
Sweet. Kenji, anywhere to find him, or is he just like, I'm the man with no face, the disembodied voice in the background?
He mostly is the disembodied voice that helps me out on my stream all the time. But if he ever decides to get back into streaming, it's, twitch.tv/Kenji Hayashi, Kenjiro Hayashi.
Gotcha. What about Fahros? I see some
what?
flexing over there. I see also Fahros is wearing the Wan shirt, by the way.
Coupons.
And with the Kupo shirt. So what the Kupo is mine. We got one which is Milo575's t-shirt. They've been supporting the dream team. Super
Shout outs
duper
to
awesome.
Milo.
Yeah, shout out for the Wans.
You wanted me to send myself out? Are we doing this?
Yeah. Where can they find you?
All right, homies. So twitch.tv/Fahros, Fahros, just like you see on the screen. I'm there almost every weekend. I'm there on Wednesday nights. Courtney's there on Thursday nights. You want to see the Final Fantasy action? Maybe a little Mortal Kombat action. I play a good bit of games. She plays whatever she feels like on Thursday, so you guys can hit us up there.
I actually have my own channel now.
Oh, you do have your own channel now? I'm sorry.
That you just followed last week.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I actually have my own channel now. I'm not streaming on Fahros' channel on Thursday, so you can find me at twitch.tv/CatalystVeritas.
It's over.
Catalyst_Veritas, right?
Yeah, that. Even.
and then same thing for both of your Twitters, right?
They'll find links for everything over on
links
my Twitch
all on the
page,
pages.
so, yeah.
Perfect. Lightrayne, how about you guys? Where can they find you?
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm like,
Polite.
for me, I have way too many social medias, so it's mostly the same though. If you search RinTheYordle, RinTheYordle, if you are a League of Legends thing, yes, it is a Yordle. I am a Yordle, just not IRL. And then for this guy,
you can find me on Twitter at GW2LIGHTRAYNE, Lightrayne.
Guild 2 Lightrayne.
For streaming stuff, I'm typically on her channel. Wait, did you say your channel at all yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You'll typically find me on her channel. Otherwise, if you're following me on Twitter, I'll be streaming from time to time, either like Hearthstone or a point of view stream for the MMOs that we play.
If you don't want to get spammed, follow his Twitter compared to, because I tweet too much.
Your feed.
I'm sorry.
I love it though. I'm like, oh wait, Rin is overexcitable again. What is she excited about? Oh, League of Legends put her in the spotlight. That day was insane. That was super duper awesome. Congratulations,
that was
by
a crazy
the way.
day. I'm still really I'm still reeling from it because people keep coming to hey, I saw you hosted. I'm like, what?
All right, Miz. For all of us.
It was. We were all cheering for you. We're like, yay, Rin! All right, Miz, where can they find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/mtqcapture or youtube.com/mtqcapture or twitter.com/mtqcapture. I think you understand the pattern.
That's the way to do it.
Yes, anywhere on the internet I am under mtqcapture. You can find my stream. Usually is probably the easiest way to find me. Or Twitter. Twitter's better.
Harass her on Twitter. Everyone, let's go harass Miz on Twitter. I think we should.
What have I done?
We need more tips of Miz, by the way, because there are not enough.
So, do you know those websites that they keep linking me? I have been watching those on my phone, and apparently there's sound, which I have not seen. So I'm going to do that right after we finish and watch what these websites are.
That's funny. So I am Rahhzay, aka the Moogle Mama, family-friendly streamer, and you guys can find me at Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all Rahhzay. YouTube is Rahhzay Gaming because things.
Reasons.
Because reasons. And it's been a blast hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, let's announce something really quick, Miz. So there's a new podcast coming called Behind the Green Screen, featuring your host with the most, Milo575. Please look forward to it.
One. Okay.
One. So thank you guys. This was an awesome episode. I think we covered a lot of really awesome things. So should we all wave goodbye awkwardly to everybody?
Wow, you guys are enjoying waving awkwardly.
Thank you, Steve, for having us. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We love you.
All right, everyone.
My heart looks kind of weird.
Hey, Mike.
Hi. I know, no, they
powers.
can hear me. I know. They can hear me. Don't worry. I have an announcement too.
Mike has an announcement. Says,
I have an
are we
announcement
getting
too.
the voice of Mike,
I don't.
aka Mr. Happy?
No one wants me to.
Are we
AKA
just-
one of 8 million nicknames.
It's all right. We got extra screen time, baby. Let's do it.
Everyone Manderville.
It's screen time. It's screen time.
Can you imagine if we all like Mander?
Man, that's gonna be hard doing
Dude, let's
announcements
do
when
it.
everyone's doing
I'm
the
down for it.
Manderville.
Oh my gosh.
No, you
Let's
can see if you
play
can
Duck,
maintain
Duck,
it. I
Goose.
just won't look at the cameras. There we go. Okay, so thank you,
So do we
everyone.
take
Chairs,
questions?
maybe?
Or any,
Oh
or
my
anything
goodness,
like
this
that?
is not
or
gonna happen.
What?
do we
There's
take
no way this is
questions
gonna happen.
from the
Alright.
chat?
I'm not looking at the cameras.
Yeah.
Can
We
Alright,
can.
now-
I don't
Announcement.
know if that's a.
I haven't been paying a lot of really close attention to chat because
That is the trend.
this whole thing where I can't like focus on any one thing. So
Chat, what do you want to ask all of us, the crazy ones of the other half of the dream team?
Well, before we get to that real quick, I have
As
an
we wait
announcement that I'm
awkwardly
still
again.
trying.
Stream delay.
We still have,
Miz, you look beautiful with the mustache brow.
I do, don't I?
Yes. Look
so I've been
tall.
trying to make an announcement this whole time.
I
I
look
forgot
like
my headset
Slytherin.
was up.
Oh!
I was like, why are they
God.
ignoring me? Why are they
Like
ignoring me?
Gonna
So
use the voice
it's
of
funny.
Mike?
No,
It's
because
silent.
everyone on stream could hear me, but none of you could hear me. So
Aw.
they were all thinking that you were interrupting me this whole time, and I was because I have 2 different microphones being used. Oh my! All right,
Yeah.
all right. Now, yeah.
GG.
So that's my fault. That's not their fault at all. It's so funny. It's just me over and over again. Like, so I wanted. So I. Over and over again.
No.
Oh my goodness.
man.
So on that note, thank you, Rahhzay, for doing the announcement for Behind the Green Screen for Milo 575. That will be on May 21st. We'll have more information about that later on. And also, just want to do a quick announcement about next week's episode of State of the Realm. We are going to be featuring Sari, who is a cosplayer, and we're going to talk about cosplay and how to get yourself ready for Heavensward cosplay going towards Fan Festival 2016. We had some amazing cosplays at Fan Festival 2014. There probably won't be one this year, so got to start getting prepared for next year.
Please look forward to it. Sari is
Please look
amazing.
forward to it.
Hi.
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 She's fantastic.
That's an understatement.
Understatement. So on that note, thank you everyone for making the show as good as you made it. All of you obviously in the Skype chat and everyone in the Twitch chat as well. You guys have any last things you want to say before we wrap up?
Kenji,
I love you all.
sure.
Thanks for having us on.
All the girls coming out. High five, girls.
Yeah,
Woo!
And
Fahros,
Fahros.
Lightrayne, we need to pull
Fahros is
together.
just like I am the awesome.
Fahros is like, I know my place.
High five.
I was talking about the dreamers, but hey, Rain, Kenji, thank you guys for coming out too. We really appreciate everybody being here, finding the time. I know it's hard with everybody's schedules sometimes too. So, and then Rin gets to hang out with Rain because she's out visiting him. I know I saw a question earlier about why they're long distance, and it's actually because they live on opposite ends of the country. So she just happened to fly in today to hang out with him, and it like coincided perfectly for this episode.
No, it was just for the show. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was just for the show. I spent it
She's
just.
leaving now.
Oh, she's leaving right after the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye on out. Peace.
Oh.
Aw. He looked like he believed you for a second there. I got kind of sad. What
Aww.
have I done?
I
Well,
have to say you guys had the sappiest story, so all the feels. Okay, go ahead.
all right, everyone. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up and go to post show. Sorry, YouTube. You only got one post show out of all of them. You're going to have to come live if you want to see it. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of the show. We will see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
All the mustaches. I feel like I missed out.
Did you miss out?
Oh wait, I didn't do my Mr. Happy cosplay. Hang on,
Well,
guys. Like, favorite, subscribe, and share. I know
There
they
we
can't
go.
see me anymore.
I'm leaving that in, by the way.
Like, favorite, subscribe, and share the awesomeness that is this video. And see you guys next week for the next State of the Realm.
I'm leaving that in the video, just